Hi, ThatPaulGuy. I was going to try to post this video over the weekend, and that didn't quite happen. Today's Tuesday, which means that it didn't get done on Saturday or on Sunday or on Monday. What did happen during the weekend was I was trying to set up to do a couple of tutorials and maybe even show how I got set up and maybe how things would start working out a little bit by trying to learn Java. We had some issues. I'll explain over here. Okay, some misadventures when it came to learning a new programming language. I was already, with school and everything, fairly comfortable with C++, and even during the latter part of a couple of sessions, started learning a little bit of Python. Was able to use Visual Studio for that without much of a problem. It plugged right in. It worked pretty easily, and I'm very comfortable with that. I've grown to know that system fairly well, and that IDE is, to me, pretty easy to use. I have known other people to use other things, and we'll get into that a little bit, but upon learning those, especially being comfortable where I was with C++ and learning Python, I also thought it might be a good idea to go ahead and try to learn Java. As it turns out, Java, made by Sun Microsystems, Oracle.com is where you can find Java, if you don't already know, is the most popular programming language in the world. It does not play well with Microsoft. Microsoft likes to be the biggest and baddest on the block, and so you have a little bit of an issue there. So there's no direct plug-in or no direct extension in Visual Studio for Java. Led me to start looking for external IDEs. One of the most popular that I've heard from a lot of people was Atom. I went ahead and downloaded Java, got everything set up, and guess what? After doing all of that and setting a path, etc., and so on, Atom would not let me go any further because I've gone through this little rigmarole before, where I tried to set the path and everything, and it continues to tell me that I don't have the path set, and I have not downloaded it. Both of which are incorrect statements, but I will explore that a little bit later on. I do know that Atom is very good about having where you can download different extensions, themes, all kinds of stuff, and it's very, very versatile. And so I'd kind of like to see that in action a little bit. It hasn't worked out in my favor so far. My next step was to go with Eclipse, what I've seen in tutorials, and I've heard other people brag about it a little bit. Downloaded it, actually got it to download, got Java extension to work to download into it. I got a C++ extension to download into it. But when I go to try to start a project, not only did it ask me to start the new project, but Java, you also had to start a primary class, or you have to add a primary class. You had to do that separately, so that was a whole other step involved. So even though I did all that, I thought, I'm pretty happy with that result. It took me all day long. On Saturday, going through Visual Studio, Atom, and then finally Eclipse, to be able to have a working project where I could start actually learning Java, and I thought I was pretty happy with the whole thing. But on Sunday, when I was discussing it with a classmate, Joe, he and I have worked on other projects together, he told me that he was actually using NetBeans, which he got right off Oracle.com, which is the Java website where I downloaded Java in the first place. The setup was pretty easy. I've actually got a different theme on this one, so that's the reason why it looks a little bit different. You just start a new project by either going new project or clicking on the folder here. When you do that, it asks you what type of project, and yes, you could do a C++ or a couple other extensions. Starting a Java project, click next, name not only the project name but your main class, and boom, there you go. It was all set up and complete, and I was on my way. It took me far less time to do this than it did to write or set up classes in Eclipse after I'd already had Eclipse configured. So at this point, I've decided to go with NetBeans. And even though I might never be very, very good at Java, I'm going to try to learn it. But at least now I've got a working IDE. And I should have probably just looked right on the website where I downloaded Java in the first place, because it already configured itself when I downloaded NetBeans. So you can download Java, you can go ahead and download a different IDE, etc. Or my recommendation at this point, at least for somebody just trying to start out and trying to learn, go ahead and download NetBeans. It already downloads Java and incorporates it into it, and there's tutorials. So maybe that might be the best thing for somebody starting out trying to learn it. That's all I got for this one, but believe me, there'll be other ones, and we'll keep exploring together.